What's up, boys? Callsign Grimey here, and I'm excited to share some news surrounding Broken Arrow, a real-time strategy game that is highly anticipated. Now, I've covered this game before on the channel. I'll link to the playlist where you can check out the videos as it pertains to the single player experience of Broken Arrow, which I had a blast with. Many people did, to be quite honest with you. But here is what we have to share with you today on the latest Broken Arrow news. The devs have now announced that the multiplayer open beta period will kick off on January 31st. It's right around the corner. You get to get in and battle each other, and it is a very fun experience. I was fortunate enough to play in the closed beta multiplayer that took place at the end of 2023. It was under NDA, so there's not much I can say about it in detail. I couldn't stream it, create content around it. That being said, on January 31st, you better believe I'll have videos to share with you on the multiplayer experience, perhaps some tips and tricks that I picked up from my playthroughs in multiplayer, building your deck out and all of that stuff. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Now, with that being said, let's dive into the announcement in a little more detail, kind of cover what they had to share with us. So this open beta kicks off January 31st on Steam, and everyone can participate in this. You don't need a key. You just, when you go on Steam, you'll go to the Broken Arrow Steam page, store page, and you just download the demo or the beta, and you're right in. It's as simple as that. So you don't have to stress or harass the devs to get any kind of a key. It's open to everyone to participate in, and they're going to be doing a lot of stress testing here for this. So be patient if you run into any kind of performance issues or server issues. This is the whole point of the open beta, is to kind of find all the weak points so they can identify it, work on it so they can prepare it for an official release. And it's really important to point this out because I know some people don't like to participate in multiplayer experiences, and that's totally fine. However, this open beta is strictly for multiplayer gameplay. There's going to be no single player content whatsoever. The game at launch is going to contain single player scenarios and single player campaigns, but the purpose of the play test is to test the online play. As I said before, they want to make sure they can hammer out those bugs when it comes to the online multiplayer experience. Now, when the multiplayer open beta kicks off, you're going to have access to 6 multiplayer maps playable in a 5v5 style of battle. And it sounds kind of crazy, but it is pretty amazing, to be honest with you, when you have these 5v5s. We'll have to talk about that in a future video and why that's pretty cool, and the challenges and the frustrations when you're dealing with 4 of the teammates. And we are only going to have 4 out of the 10 total specializations that the game's going to contain at launch. For the 2 playable factions, that's going to be USA and Russia. Now, if you pick the USA, you're going to play as the United States Marine Corps and Armored. And if you pick Russia, you're going to play as the VDV and have guard tanks. The devs have also mentioned that they're going to do a little something of a challenge here for this open beta multiplayer experience. They've decided that they are going to run a contest in parallel over this open beta period. During those 16 days, players are going to have a chance to climb 2 unique leaderboards, the KD ratio and a win-loss ratio leaderboard. So for those of you that are tryhards, you have a little some extra motivation there to waste away your life for 2 weeks to run up the leaderboard. I'm slightly joking there. And then at the end of the open beta, they're going to have the winners and the top players amongst the community. They're also going to reward the most active player for the duration of the beta. Now, running up on these leaderboards is going to have a little bit of a perk here. Victory is going to be rewarded with the possibility of taking part in a special live roundtable with the developers. Those who manage to get in the first 5 positions of each leaderboard will get a chance to take part in a live event where they get to talk to the developers, maybe offer some feedback, opinions, ask whatever they want about the game on the spot. So it's a pretty good opportunity to voice your opinion or get those very important questions that you have answered by the developers themselves. And then to close out this announcement, they actually shared with us some very big closed beta numbers. We'll take a look at it right here on this screen here. Broken Arrow by the numbers in the closed beta, which I participated in. You can see the leaderboard win count here, up to over 400 wins for one person. The leader KD had a ratio of 4.15 KD ratio, which is super impressive right there. And then taking a look at the most popular maps here from the 6 that are going to be available to play on for the multiplayer here. Baltic was hands down the most popular, and I can verify this by and large every time you'd queue in. That was the most desired map. followed by Parnu, Central Village, Ignalia Power Plant, Frontiers, and Churn. That was the order right there. And again, pretty much in line with my experience. The bottom three didn't really see too much often. Mostly everyone wanted to play on the first three. And then over to the right, you can see that battles fought. There was over 167K. 4.1 million units were destroyed, 125K logins, 4.6 million experience count. Total playtime in the closed beta period here was over 100K hours or 11 years. All of this is very impressive when you take into account that the closed beta didn't have tons of people in it. You know, there may be a few thousand in there, but compared to how many people are going to be playing this once it's open to the entire public, it's a small percentage here. And what I can say is that I overall had a great time and experience. I think once it becomes available to everyone, you're going to have a blast as well. Even for it being a closed beta testing, you know, getting into matches was really quick. There was a good amount of players on it, mostly 24 hours of the day when you factor in NA, EU, Oceania, you know, all the different time zones and regions. There was always someone on to get into some matches. As I said before, it is going to be 5v5, and that is going to make things very interesting and chaotic. And again, I can't wait to talk about this in more detail and also offer, more importantly, some tips that can land you into better situations of winning your battles in these 5v5s. Because again, it can be very chaotic, especially when there's no comms. So there it is, boys. Broken Arrow open beta multiplayer happens January 31st. Get excited, set a reminder, meet me on the battlefield. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys out there and having more content to share with you on one of my favorite forthcoming games of the year, Broken Arrow. If you have any questions, drop it down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. Callsign Grimey out.